The night sky over Earth looked calm, but deep in the darkness of space, something old and dying was calling out. Far beyond the moon, beyond Mars, beyond every human eye, a lonely signal traveled through empty space. It was weak, broken, almost dead, but still alive enough to reach one planet: Earth. No one knew how long it had been traveling. Maybe hundreds of years. Maybe thousands. But on this night, it finally arrived. In the International Deep Space Research Facility, the large antenna suddenly shifted. Machines beeped. Lights flashed red. A soft vibration ran across the floor as if something from the universe itself had knocked at Earth's door. Dr. Aaron Blake, the lead scientist, looked up from his screen. His tired eyes widened when he saw the strange readings. He called out for the others, his voice shaking a little. His team rushed to him, confused. The signal was unlike anything they had recorded before. It was not radio noise, not a star pulse, not a satellite error. It was structured, intelligent. Some parts were too broken to read, but one thing was clear. Someone, or something, was trying to speak. Aaron increased the volume. Static filled the room, like a storm trapped inside a speaker. Everyone listened, waiting. For a long moment, nothing happened. Then, suddenly, a voice rose from the static. It was faint, distant, yet full of fear. It did not sound human. The tone was strange, deeper, almost trembling. "If anyone hears this," the voice said, "this is our final call for help." The room fell silent. No one moved. The voice was slow, like the speaker was struggling to speak or was very old. Something about it felt hopeless. "Our world has fallen," the voice continued. "Our enemy cannot be stopped. We send this message to the nearest young species, humanity. You are our last hope." The transmission cut into static again. The scientists stared at one another. They had spent their whole lives searching for signs of alien life, but no one expected the first contact to be a cry for help. Aaron replayed the signal again and again. Each time, the voice sounded even more desperate. It was clearly not a trap or a prank. It felt like a dying breath from the edge of the galaxy. Something terrible had happened to whoever sent it. The world reacted fast. News channels exploded with fear and excitement. Governments demanded answers. Millions stayed awake all night, waiting for updates. For the first time in human history, the planet knew it was not alone. But Earth was not ready for what came next. At the research facility, the team worked to decode the hidden data inside the signal. They discovered strange symbols, unearthly patterns, and broken fragments of alien language. But buried deep in the message was something even more shocking. Coordinates. A location in space far outside the safe regions known to humans. The coordinates pointed toward a dark, empty part of the galaxy, a place no ship had ever reached, a place believed to be dead. It was a region old space travelers once called the Quiet Sector, where stars burned out too fast and planets crumbled. Many believed it was cursed. Now, it seemed it held the last trace of a dying alien race. As the scientists worked, something unexpected happened. The signal played again, on its own. Same message, same broken voice, but the last line was clearer this time. Almost painfully clear. "If you hear this, do not ignore us, or your future will fall like ours." The message ended. Everyone in the room felt chills run through their bodies. It no longer sounded like a request. It sounded like a warning. Hours later, the United Earth Council held an emergency meeting. Some world leaders said humanity must respond, must help. Others said it was too dangerous. They feared walking into a trap. They feared meeting whatever enemy destroyed the alien world. The arguments grew louder, hotter, more desperate. But outside all this noise, somewhere else in the world, a small group of people watched the news quietly. They were not politicians. They were not scientists. They were explorers, soldiers, engineers, people who had already seen the darkness of space. They looked at each other with the same thought. If this alien species really needed help, they would not wait for slow decisions. They would go. Back in the research facility, Aaron continued studying the signal late into the night. Everyone else had gone home or fallen asleep at their desks, but he stayed. Something about the voice kept echoing in his mind. He felt like the message was more than what they could hear. There was something hidden, something important. He played the final part again. The voice whispered through the static. "Your future will fall like ours." He leaned closer to the speaker. For a moment, it felt like he heard another voice behind the main one. A whisper. Almost like someone warning him personally. A cold shiver ran down his spine. Then the screens suddenly flickered. All systems in the lab rebooted on their own. The lights dimmed, then brightened. The antenna rotated without being touched. Lines of alien symbols appeared across every monitor, fast and chaotic. Aaron backed away, heart pounding. The symbols stopped. A single image formed on the central screen. It was a planet. Burned. Cracked. Silent. Then, a shadow moved behind the planet. Something massive. Something alive. The image vanished. The room went dark. Only the final broken words of the alien message echoed through the speakers one last time. "Humanity, beware, they are coming." And the signal died completely. The coordinates from the signal burned in Dr. Aaron Blake's mind. He had studied every detail, every broken fragment of the alien message. Now, he had no choice. He had to know what was waiting there. The world's leaders argued endlessly, but time did not wait. Something ancient and powerful had reached out, and humanity had only one chance to answer. Aaron assembled a small crew. They were the best humans could offer. Engineers who could fix anything in space, soldiers who could fight anything, and pilots who had flown further than anyone else dared. Each person knew the risk. The quiet sector was called quiet for a reason. Ships never returned. Systems failed. The stars themselves seemed to vanish. But curiosity, courage, and the weight of a dying species pushed them forward. The ship, Aurora, was the newest human exploration vessel. Sleek, fast, and armed with experimental technology, it could survive conditions no other ship could. As it left Earth's orbit, the crew watched their blue planet shrink behind them. No one spoke much. Words felt useless. The alien voice was still in their ears, whispering warnings they could not ignore. For days, the Aurora passed through familiar space, then through emptier zones, where only distant suns gave them light. Systems hummed, engines glowed, but the crew felt the silence of the void pressing against them. Every radar ping, every blip on their screens made hearts race. It was as if space itself were holding its breath, waiting to see what humans would do. Finally, the ship reached the coordinates. Nothing. Just darkness. No stars. No planets. No movement. The quiet sector lived up to its name. The crew stared at the screen, trying to make sense of it. Then, slowly, faint shapes appeared. Structures, enormous beyond imagination, half buried in asteroid belts, drifting silently. They looked ancient, alien, and broken. "It's huge," whispered Lieutenant Mara, the ship's lead pilot. "But what is it?" Aaron adjusted the sensors. Patterns emerged. The structure was not natural. Towers, walls, strange geometric shapes floated in zero gravity. It looked like a city. A city destroyed by time, war, or both. He could not tell. But one thing was clear. This was the last home of the aliens who sent the message. The crew approached carefully. Every move felt dangerous. The structures were unstable. One wrong turn and the Aurora could be trapped or crushed. And yet, the signal they had followed was still faintly alive, pulsing through the ship's communication array. It was weak, but unmistakable. Someone, or something, was still trying to speak. The ship landed on a flat surface near the largest structure. Outside, the silence of space was absolute. The crew donned suits and stepped into the alien city. Everything was broken, covered in strange dust. Strange symbols glowed faintly on walls, pulsing like tiny hearts. It was both beautiful and terrifying. As they moved deeper, Aaron noticed something chilling. Scattered around were remnants of life, tools, broken machines, and what seemed like skeletal remains, but unlike anything human. They were tall, fragile-looking, yet strong. Their skulls were elongated, their eyes empty but full of meaning. The aliens had been here. They had fought. And they had lost. Mara touched a symbol on a wall. It glowed brighter, then emitted a soft hum. Suddenly, a holographic image flickered to life. The crew jumped back. A translucent figure appeared. It was the alien, or at least its memory. It spoke in the broken language, but the ship's translator struggled to convert it. The message came through clearly in simple words: "We could not survive. Our enemy is unstoppable. We sought a species that will not surrender, that can fight, that can answer our call. Humans, you are our hope." The words hung in the air like a storm warning. The crew exchanged glances. No one moved. The weight of the message pressed on them. The aliens had reached across the galaxy, searching for help. And now, humanity was standing in the ruins of their world. The responsibility was enormous. The fear was enormous. But so was the courage. Suddenly, the ground shook. A low rumble vibrated through the alien city. Dust fell from the ceilings. The walls trembled. The crew looked at one another, hearts pounding. Something was coming. Something that had destroyed the aliens. And now, it might have found them. Aaron activated the ship's weapons systems. Mara moved to the controls, scanning the shadows. The air outside the suits was thin, cold, and full of tension. Every creak of metal, every shadow in the corner, felt like the first step of a predator. The signal pulsed again. Stronger this time, almost urgent. The alien voice, distorted but clear, whispered, "They are returning, beware." A chill ran down Aaron's spine. The words were a warning, not a plea. Humans had answered the call, but now they had to survive long enough to keep answering. The quiet sector was not dead. Something waited. Something alive, something powerful, and something ready to strike. The crew braced themselves. They had no allies here. Only each other, their courage, and the fragile hope that humanity could succeed where the aliens had failed. Outside, the dark city waited, silent and massive. And far above them, in the empty black of space, something moved. Something that had already destroyed worlds. The first attack came without warning, shaking the city to its foundations. The crew yelled, guns and shields activating instantly. Smoke, fire, and alien energy surrounded them. The battle had begun. Humanity's answer had begun. And the galaxy watched in silent, terrified awe. The air inside the alien city was thick with dust and fear. Every corner hid shadows, every broken wall whispered warnings. The crew of the Aurora moved cautiously, their footsteps echoing like gunshots in the silence. The attack from outside had stopped as suddenly as it began, leaving only trembling ruins and the faint pulse of the alien signal. But no one believed the danger was gone. Something was watching them, waiting for the perfect moment to strike again. Aaron led the group deeper into the city. Strange alien machines lay scattered across the ground. Some hummed with faint energy, others were cracked and dead. The crew could feel the history in these ruins, the lives that had been lost, the desperate fight the aliens had made, and the terror that had come at the end. It was heavy in the air, almost like the city itself mourned. Lieutenant Mara paused at a massive wall covered in symbols. The glowing shapes formed a map of the sector, showing stars, planets, and unknown regions. At the center, a huge X marked a location. The translator flickered, struggling to make sense of it, but Aaron understood the meaning immediately. It was the alien stronghold, the final battlefield where the last fight had been lost. And now, it was where humanity might find answers, or death. As they moved toward the marked location, strange shadows flickered in the distance. Shapes too large and too fast to be human moved among the broken towers. The crew aimed their weapons, but nothing approached. The silence was worse than an attack. It pressed against their minds, whispering fear into every thought. Suddenly, one of the engineers, Lena, gasped. Her glove brushed a piece of alien technology, and it activated. A holographic screen floated in the air, showing recordings of the last moments of the alien civilization. The images were horrifying. Entire cities burned, massive ships fell from the sky, and alien beings ran in terror as a massive enemy tore through everything. The crew watched in stunned silence. This enemy, whatever it was not like anything humans had faced before. Its power was unimaginable, its speed unmatched, and its hunger for destruction endless. And now, somewhere in the shadows, it might be watching them. Aaron turned to his crew, his voice steady despite the fear gnawing at him. We have to keep moving. If we can reach the central stronghold, we might find weapons, knowledge, or at least a clue to survive. This was their last hope. And maybe, it can be ours too. The path led them into a massive chamber, half destroyed but still functional. Strange machines lined the walls, pulsing with alien energy. In the center, a gigantic console floated in the air, covered in symbols that flickered and changed. Lena stepped forward, tracing the patterns with her gloved hand. Suddenly, the console responded. Lights blazed, the room hummed with power, and a voice filled the chamber, deep, mechanical, and terrifying. It spoke in the alien language, but the translator converted it quickly enough. Who dares enter the ruins of the fallen? You are not ready. You cannot survive. The crew froze. Every muscle tensed. Mara gripped her weapon tighter. Aaron stepped forward, ignoring the fear twisting in his chest. We are here to learn. We are here to help. We are the species you trusted. Show us what we must know. The console pulsed brighter, then images appeared in the air, holographic schematics of alien weapons, defensive systems, and strange energy fields. The aliens had built incredible technology, designed to fight their enemy. But much of it was incomplete or damaged. It was not made for humans, and yet, it might be humanity's only chance. A sudden vibration shook the floor. The shadows returned, larger, closer. The enemy had found them. The crew barely had time to react before a monstrous shape emerged from the darkness, a being taller than any human, covered in armor that shimmered like liquid metal. Its eyes glowed with an unnatural red light. Its movements were quick, precise, and deadly. Mara fired first. Bullets bounced off the alien creature as if it were a shielded machine. Lena scrambled to activate the alien console. Aaron shouted instructions as they tried to understand the weapon systems. It was chaotic, terrifying, and impossible. And yet, somehow, the humans adapted. Their courage, their determination, and their refusal to give up pushed them past every obstacle the enemy threw at them. The creature lunged again. Aaron pressed a button on the console. Alien weapons hummed to life, glowing with energy. Lasers cut across the room. Shields activated. The humans were not supposed to control this technology, but they had no choice. One by one, the alien machines obeyed their command. Slowly, painfully, they turned the battle in their favor. The enemy roared, a sound that shook the very walls. It retreated, at least for now. The crew gasped, hearts pounding, sweat running down their faces. They had survived the first encounter. But they all knew this was only the beginning. The enemy that had destroyed an entire civilization was still out there. The aliens' last hope had become humanity's challenge. Aaron looked around at his crew. Fatigue, fear, and determination were written on every face. He realized something important. Humanity had never faced anything like this before. Yet, here they were, standing in the ruins of a dead world, staring down a force that could destroy them all. And somehow, he believed they could survive. Somehow, he believed they could fight. Outside, the quiet sector remained silent, but the shadows were not gone. They were watching, waiting. and the galaxy had begun to take notice of humanity's courage for the first time. The battle had started. Humanity's answer had begun. The crew of the Aurora sat in the central chamber, still catching their breath from the first encounter. Outside, the quiet sector was silent again, but the shadows lingered, creeping across the ruins like dark fingers. Every member of the team felt it, the weight of what had happened, and the weight of what was coming. They had survived, barely. But the enemy was still out there, and it was far stronger than anything they had ever faced. Aaron returned to the alien console. The holographic schematics still floated in the air, glowing softly. Symbols shifted, forming patterns he could now understand. The aliens had recorded everything, their weapons, their defenses, their battles. But buried in the data was something even more important: their history, the story of their civilization, and their final, desperate hope. As the translator processed the records, a holographic figure appeared again. It was the same alien they had seen before, but this time it spoke more clearly. "We failed," it said. "We fought the enemy for centuries. We tried to survive. But they are relentless, unstoppable. No species in this galaxy could stand against them. Except one. Humanity. We observed your growth from afar. We saw your courage, your determination, your refusal to surrender. You are the only species that could answer our call." The crew stared in silence. Aaron's mind raced. The aliens had chosen humanity. Not because of strength, not because of weapons, but because of something deeper, something that could not be measured by technology or numbers. Courage. Willpower. The ability to fight when all hope is lost. Lieutenant Mara broke the silence. "They didn't just need help. They needed us to survive where they failed. We're their last hope, and now, we're responsible for the galaxy." Her voice trembled, but her eyes were fierce. Aaron nodded. "And if we fail, then their enemy will continue, unchecked. We could be next. Or worse. Earth could be next." Lena, the engineer, stepped forward. "But why us? Why did they send the signal to Earth? There are billions of species. There are other civilizations out there. Why humanity?" The holographic alien replied. "Because we studied you. Your species refuses to surrender. You adapt, you learn, you unite when faced with impossible odds. Other species, they would have given up long ago. Humanity fights when all seems lost. That is why you were chosen. That is why we sent our final cry for help, and why we trusted you." The weight of the truth sank in. The crew had not just been lucky. They were meant to be here. The galaxy had placed its hope on humanity. And now, the enemy that had destroyed the alien civilization could return at any moment. Aaron studied the alien schematics again. Among the weapons and defenses, he discovered something else: a map of the enemy's movements. They were fast, organized, and intelligent. The alien race had never understood them fully. But there was a pattern. A weakness. Something humans could exploit if they moved carefully. Mara's hand hovered over the console. "So, the enemy is coming back. And we have to be ready. Alone." Aaron nodded grimly. "Alone, but not helpless. These weapons, this technology, it's ours to use. We may not be the strongest species, but we have what they lacked: courage, creativity, and the will to survive. If we act together, we might succeed where the aliens failed." The crew began to strategize. They divided tasks quickly. Lena would work on repairing alien weapons, Mara would prepare defenses, and the rest would analyze the enemy patterns. Every moment counted. The quiet sector offered no mercy, no time for doubt. As they worked, the alien hologram spoke one last time. "Remember, we failed because fear and despair overtook us. You must not. Humanity, you must endure. You must fight. You are the answer to our final cry." Then the hologram disappeared, leaving the crew alone in the quiet chamber. Silence returned, heavier than before. The weight of the task ahead pressed down on them. They had the knowledge. They had the tools. And they had the courage. But the enemy was still out there. Somewhere in the darkness of the galaxy, it waited. Watching. Calculating. Ready to strike. Aaron looked at his crew. Each face reflected fear, determination, and something else, hope. They were tired, but not defeated. They were afraid, but not paralyzed. And most importantly, they understood their place in this story. The aliens' warning had become humanity's challenge. Mara tightened her grip on her weapon. If they want to destroy us, they'll have to try harder than they did with them. Aaron smiled faintly. Then we fight. We don't surrender. We survive. And we show the galaxy what humanity can do. Outside the ruins, the shadows shifted again. The enemy had sensed the humans' presence. It would not wait long. And far beyond the quiet sector, other civilizations began to notice a new force rising in the galaxy. A species that refused to surrender. A species ready to answer a cry for help no one else could. The battle was not over. Not yet. But humanity had learned the truth. They were not just survivors. They were chosen. And now, they had to prove it. The first steps of preparation began. Alien weapons hummed. Shields powered up. The crew trained, repaired, and planned. Every decision mattered. Every moment counted. And as the stars above the quiet sector flickered in the distance, the humans understood one undeniable fact. They were the galaxy's last hope. And the galaxy would soon see what they were truly capable of. The crew of the Aurora barely had time to breathe. The alien schematics had given them knowledge, but knowledge alone could not stop the enemy. Outside the ruins, the shadows moved again, larger, faster, more terrifying than before. The silence of the quiet sector was gone. Now, it was filled with the sound of something alive, something deadly, moving closer. Aaron and Mara stood at the main control panel. The alien weapons hummed, glowing faintly under their hands. Lena and the engineers worked furiously, repairing damaged systems, activating shields, and calibrating weapons that no human had ever used before. The crew's hearts pounded in unison. Every second counted. Every mistake could be fatal. Then it came. A massive shadow rose above the ruins, darkening the ground. The enemy had returned. Its body shimmered like liquid metal, reflecting the faint light of the dead stars around them. Its eyes glowed red, filled with hunger and intelligence. Its speed was terrifying, faster than the human eye could track. The sound it made was not like any animal or machine. They felt it in their bones, a low, vibrating roar that shook the walls and made the air itself seem heavy. Mara fired first, her pulse rifle spitting energy at the enemy. Sparks flew as the shots bounced harmlessly off its armored body. Aaron pressed buttons on the console, activating alien defense drones. Tiny machines flew out, buzzing with energy, firing beams of blue light at the enemy. Some hit. Some exploded harmlessly. But each shot, each attack, weakened the creature slightly. The enemy lunged. Its claws ripped through the ruins, tearing walls and machinery as if they were paper. The ground shook under its weight. Smoke and dust filled the air, stinging eyes and lungs. The crew fought with every ounce of courage they had, using alien weapons, human skill, and instinct. They dodged, fired, and adapted, learning the rhythm of the enemy as quickly as they could. Aaron shouted over the roar of destruction. Focus on the energy nodes. The glowing spots on its body. Hit them together, we can overload it. The crew adjusted, aiming at the pulsating points on the enemy's body. Each shot caused sparks to fly, and the creature roared in pain. It swiped at the drones, tearing some apart, but others continued to attack relentlessly. Humanity's determination was beginning to matter. They were not the fastest, the strongest, or the most powerful, but they were smart, united, and unwilling to surrender. Suddenly, a massive claw swung at the Aurora. Mara barely dodged in time, the ship rocking violently. Alarms blared. The floor trembled as the enemy smashed part of the ruins. Debris rained down, crushing some of the alien drones. Panic flared for a moment, but Aaron kept shouting instructions. Keep firing. Keep moving. Don't stop. Lena activated another system, a large alien weapon rising from the floor. Its energy coils glowed bright green. This is it, she yelled. We can trap it in the energy field, but we have to coordinate. The crew worked as one. Mara drew the enemy toward the weapon while Aaron powered the controls. The energy field rose, a shimmering cage of alien technology. The creature lunged again, swiping at Mara, but she dodged with skill only humans could have. Finally, they activated the field. The enemy roared, thrashing against the cage. Sparks and energy arcs flew everywhere. The room shook. Pieces of alien ruins cracked and fell. The humans were exhausted, but they held their positions. Slowly, the enemy weakened, its movements slowing as the energy field drained it. Aaron looked at his crew, his heart pounding. We're doing it. Keep holding it. The creature gave one final roar, a sound that shook the ruins to their core, then collapsed into the energy field. The cage held. Silence fell. The shadows of the quiet sector returned to stillness. The humans breathed, exhausted, battered, but alive. They had survived the first full attack. But Aaron knew this was only the beginning. The enemy had tested them, learned them, and now it would come back stronger. The alien's final warning echoed in his mind: they are unstoppable, unless courage and will are strong. Mara looked at the enemy's body, trapped but alive. It's not dead, she said. It's waiting. Aaron nodded. And so are we. But we have something it didn't. We have hope. We have determination. We have humanity. Outside, the quiet sector remained silent once more. The stars above flickered faintly. Somewhere, in the darkness, the galaxy watched. Humanity had made its first stand. And it had not failed. The crew returned to their stations, repairing, recalibrating, preparing for the next wave. The enemy would return, and it would be stronger. But the humans were ready to answer. Whatever the cost, whatever the danger, they would not surrender. The battle had begun, and humanity's courage had begun to echo through the galaxy. The crew of the Aurora had barely recovered from their first encounter when a new signal arrived. It was not the alien voice, and it was not the enemy. It was human. Earth. The message was simple, direct, and impossible to ignore. Prepare for immediate support. All fleets mobilize. Humanity answers the call. Aaron stared at the screen, disbelief written across his face. Earth, they're coming. They actually listened. Mara grinned, a rare expression in the quiet, tense chamber. We're not alone anymore. Within hours, the first human reinforcements arrived. Ships of all sizes, military, exploration, and experimental vessels, poured into the quiet sector. They were sleek, fast, and armed with technology even more advanced than what the crew had on the Aurora. But more than weapons, they carried something the enemy had never faced before: humanity united, fearless, and ready to fight. From orbit, the fleet formed a protective wall around the alien ruins. The enemy, still trapped in the energy field, sensed the new presence. Its red eyes scanned the massive human fleet, and for the first time, it paused. Its instincts had never prepared it for this. It had destroyed countless species before, but never a species that could fight together with such precision and courage. Aaron watched the fleet move into position. Communications buzzed non-stop. Human commanders coordinated attacks, defenses, and maneuvers with unmatched efficiency. The alien technology the crew had begun to understand was now being adapted and improved by humans in real time. They were not just using it, they were enhancing it, making it stronger, faster, and deadlier. Look at them, Lena whispered, awe in her voice. They're brilliant. They're unstoppable. Mara clenched her fists. They're showing the galaxy what it means to never surrender. This is humanity. This is why the aliens trusted us. The enemy roared again, shaking the ruins, but the human fleet was ready. Waves of energy beams, drones, and precision strikes hit the creature from all directions. It thrashed, trying to escape, but every movement was met with calculated resistance. Humans were relentless. They coordinated like no other species, adapting to the enemy's speed, strategy, and ferocity in ways the aliens had never imagined. Aaron felt a surge of pride and hope. The aliens' message had been clear: humanity's courage was unique. And now, it was fully visible to the galaxy. Every attack, every strategy, every sacrifice showed the strength of a species that refused to surrender. The enemy tried to flee, but the human fleet blocked every exit. Its massive body collided with energy barriers, alien weapons now fully under human control, and precise attacks from Earth's fleet. Slowly, painfully, it weakened. Sparks of red and blue light exploded around its body as human tactics overwhelmed it. Mara shouted over the comms. "It's retreating. Keep the pressure on." Aaron nodded. "No mercy. We cannot let it recover. Humanity answers every call." As the battle raged, distant civilizations watched through their own sensors. The galaxy that had once thought humans weak, insignificant, and unpredictable now trembled. Every species could see the courage, unity, and adaptability of humanity. They had turned a single crew, fighting for survival, into the spear that challenged an enemy that had destroyed an entire alien civilization. Minutes felt like hours. The enemy's strength diminished with every coordinated strike. The humans were not just surviving, they were leading, innovating, and dominating. The quiet sector, once a graveyard of the lost, now became the stage for humanity's rise. Finally, with one massive coordinated attack, the enemy was defeated, forced to retreat beyond the limits of sensors. The silence returned, but it was different now. It was quiet not with fear, but with triumph. Aaron looked at his crew. They were exhausted, battered, and yet alive. Mara's eyes glimmered with relief and pride. Lena was already repairing equipment, preparing for the next encounter if it came. Every human involved knew the truth: they had done what no other species could do. They had answered the aliens' final cry. Earth's fleet slowly moved closer to the Aurora, offering support and supplies. Comms were filled with congratulations, warnings, and plans. Humanity had shown not only courage but also the wisdom and unity to face impossible odds. Aaron realized something profound. The aliens had not been desperate. They had been right. Humanity was different. Humanity was the species that refused to give up. Humanity had answered. And the galaxy had witnessed it. Mara laughed softly. "They're not going to forget this, are they?" Aaron smiled faintly. "No. And neither will we. Humanity has a reputation now. A warning, and a promise. Wherever there is a call for help, we will answer. That's who we are." Outside, the stars of the quiet sector glimmered faintly. The enemy had retreated, the ruins were safe for now, and humanity stood united. For the first time, a message went out, not from the aliens, but from Earth, to all species: if you ever need help, humanity will answer. The galaxy was watching. The humans had not only survived, they had inspired fear, respect, and hope. Humanity had become a force unlike any other, a species that refused to surrender, and a species that would answer every call, no matter how impossible. The battle was over, but the war for the galaxy's future had only just begun. The quiet sector was calm for only a moment. The enemy had retreated, but it would not forget. Its massive form, though wounded, remained alive somewhere in the darkness. It had learned about humans, about their courage, and it would return stronger. Aaron and his crew knew this. Earth's fleet had reinforced the Aurora, bringing supplies, weapons, and additional ships. But this was not just a battle of firepower. This was a battle of strategy, courage, and will. Humanity's unique strength, the determination to never surrender, would be tested one final time. Inside the alien ruins, the crew prepared. Lena worked furiously, repairing and upgrading alien weapons. Systems that had been useless before now glowed with power. The holographic console revealed hidden energy sources and defense systems buried deep beneath the ruins. The crew coordinated with Earth's fleet, linking human and alien technology into a single, unstoppable force. Mara looked at Aaron. "This is it. Whatever comes, we face it together. We're ready." Aaron nodded. "We're not just fighting for survival. We're fighting for the galaxy. For every species that might need help in the future. Humanity answers every call. And this is ours to finish." Then the enemy arrived. This time, it came with precision and fury. Massive, metallic forms emerged from the shadows, moving in perfect coordination. It was stronger than before, faster, and more aggressive. Its eyes burned with red rage, and its roar echoed across the ruins like thunder. But humanity was ready. The fleet moved as one, a wall of steel, energy, and determination. Alien weapons fired in harmony with human lasers. Drones swooped in synchronized patterns, striking at the enemy's weak points. Shields held firm, absorbing blows that would have destroyed any lesser species. Aaron and his crew led the assault from the central control. The alien consoles hummed under their hands, responding to human commands with precision. They guided beams of energy, synchronized attacks, and defensive barriers. The enemy struck again and again, but each attack was countered, each move anticipated. The battle raged for hours. Debris flew, alarms blared, and the ruins shook with every collision. The humans were tired, bruised, and battered, but they refused to yield. Every human ship, every weapon, every strategy relied on one truth: they would not surrender. They would answer the call, no matter the cost. Finally, the moment came. The enemy, massive and powerful, had grown reckless, overconfident. Aaron saw an opening on the central console. "This is it," he shouted. "All fire, all power, coordinate on my mark." Every human weapon, every alien system, every ship in the fleet focused on the enemy's weak points. Energy beams struck simultaneously from every direction. The enemy roared, twisting and thrashing, but it could not escape. Light, fire, and energy engulfed it, and slowly, impossibly, it began to collapse. The crew watched, hearts pounding. They had survived impossible odds, faced a creature that had destroyed an entire civilization, and now, through courage, unity, and determination, they were winning. With a final roar, the enemy shattered. Its massive form disintegrated into sparks of light that floated across the ruins. Silence returned. This time, it was complete. The quiet sector was still, but different, alive with the triumph of humanity. Aaron exhaled slowly, looking at his crew. Mara's face glowed with exhaustion and pride. Lena's hands were blackened from repairs, but her smile was bright. They had done it. Together, they had accomplished what no other species could. Earth's fleet cheered over comms. Across the galaxy, sensors from distant civilizations recorded the event. Humanity had not just survived, they had triumphed. They had answered the final cry for help from a species that had perished, and in doing so, they had proven themselves worthy of the trust the aliens had placed in them. Aaron stepped outside the aurora, looking at the stars. The ruins were quiet, but a faint glow pulsed from the alien technology they had saved and repaired. It was a reminder, a legacy left by the species that had trusted humanity. Mara stood beside him. "Do you think they would be proud?" she asked softly. Aaron nodded. "Yes. And more than that, we've shown the galaxy who we are. Humans do not surrender. Humans answer the call. No matter what comes next, that will never change." From the depths of space, far away from the quiet sector, a new message began to transmit. It was not a warning, not a plea, but a declaration. A promise. To all species, if you ever need help, humanity will answer. The galaxy listened. Fear, respect, and hope spread across countless worlds. Humanity had become more than a species, it had become a symbol. Courage, unity, and determination had triumphed over impossible odds. And in that moment, the legacy of humanity was written into the stars. The crew returned to the Aurora, exhausted but victorious. They knew this was only the beginning. The galaxy was wide, full of dangers and mysteries yet to come. But one truth would never change: humanity would never surrender. Humanity would always answer the call. And somewhere, in the echoes of the destroyed alien civilization, a final message seemed to shimmer faintly in space. We were right. Humanity is the hope of the galaxy. The quiet sector glimmered under distant stars, silent now, but alive with the promise of humanity. The final cry had been answered, and the galaxy would never forget it. Humanity had risen. Humanity had triumphed. Humanity had become legend.